I was interrupted. I am so sorry. It's annoying. Something had happened and I was interrupted. So I'm back. And I don't know how much you got. So I'll read this again. It says, I don't know how much you got. So here we are again. And I'll have to infuse that into the other segment. So that you'll be able to get it all. Okay, Heru/Hor is the ancient Kemetic principle, and this is where I think I left off at. A perpetual renewal, in other words, the concept of something that continually repeats or comes back. Heru or Heracles in Greek is the ever-coming son of God. Isha, pronounced Yeshua or Yahusa, Yeshua, Jesus is always coming back. In the Trinity of Sar or Set, Heru is the child. Hercules' parents are from Egypt, according to Greek myth. And this is in the Greek pantheon. This is what they did. Within the African traditions and symbolic languages of a Trinity, the child represents the ability of a phenomenon that has the ability to repeat or perpetuate itself. The symbol of the child also has multifaceted and multi-levels of meaning and aspects. It is an anthropomorphic, using human or characteristics representation and of an abstract idea, using a child as the symbol of renewal and perpetuation. The child is also a functional equivalent within the symbolic system. It's that simple. Without going off on a tangent, know that ancient African words were often based on the sound activating certain brain synapses. Another aspect not well known, yes, it's that sophisticated. So names of certain principles change in order to invoke different vibrational expressions within the physical body in order to note different levels of universal formulas of expression. Did you hear that? An example. Where is heaven located? How to get there without dying? Where is heaven located? You will be shocked to find that where you were taught heaven is in the church is different from what the Bible says. There is much documented proof that Christianity evolved from ancient, it says Egyptian, but I'll say Kemetic spiritual science. The heaven you were taught in church was used as a control mechanism. According to the church, you can only get to heaven after you die as a reward for living right, according to the church. See what I'm saying? Dupe, manipulated, bamboozle. However, the original teachings about heaven were to empower you here on earth. Have I been saying that? The ancient African teachings connected mind, body, and soul. The real heaven will be more intuitive and spiritually connected to you than the idea you were taught in church. Oh my goodness. Have I not said that? That heaven is in you. It is in you. It is what you do spiritually with your etherical body, with your etherical nine-ether being. It will also become more practical than what you were originally taught, and it will make more sense to you. In this, you will learn the science of heaven beyond superstition. You will learn it beyond superstition. Do you hear that? Listen up. You will connect Bible scriptures to confirm the science of heaven in a way that will become obvious once you learn to decipher the codes. You will see the ancient idea of heaven is a different paradigm than the way we were taught as Christians. You will be challenged to think outside of the Christian box that keeps you locked in a state of fear, shame, and guilt. See, what God would make you, think about it. What God will come to put fear in you. Let me show you the contradictories that you live by every day. He tells you on one hand, I love you. This is in your Bible. He tells you, I love you on one hand. On the other hand, he tells you, if you don't do this, I'm going to burn you up. He tells you that you're a priesthood, you're a royal priesthood. And then at the same time, he tells you you're a filthy rag. I mean, really, y'all? I mean, come on. He tells you, these are Pauline epistles. He tells you that if it pleases your master to keep you as a servant, then serve gladly with fear and trembling. And then it tells you on the other side of that, whom the Son sets free is free indeed. I mean, make up your damn mind. Which is it? You see the contradictories there? I mean, come on. So how do you justify that? How do you justify that? I mean, I want all the Bible scholars to tell me, how do you justify that? You will see, as I just read, the ancient ideas of heaven is a different paradigm than the way we were taught as Christians. You will be challenged to think outside of the box, outside of the Christian box that keeps you locked in a state of fear, shame, and guilt as read. The deeper spiritual science is not taught in church, y'all. In order to answer, where is heaven? You must understand the origin of the science and philosophy before it became a religion. Before it became a religion. This will be one of the challenges, aspects you still think from a Christian and Western paradigm as heaven being a place. Sound, or as we say today, vibration. This is the organizing principle of the universe. In ancient Kemet, this application of vibration, sound was the essence of everything they did. They built a civilization on the principle of vibration, or sound being the organizing principle of all things. This is why they can't understand how our people erected the pyramids. They're still trying to find out. It was vibrational. They were on a higher vibrational frequency. In the Kemetic Book of the Dead, or the Book of the Coming Forth by Day, or to the natives, Ra states, I am Ra, I am the eternal, I am the Word, I created the Word. So this is where it comes out of the script. This is where Christianity borrowed that. This is in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. I am Ra, I am the eternal, I am the Word, I created the Word. Circa BCE. This was done 5,000 years ago. And Kemetic theology predates Christianity. Christianity came after Kemet, like a couple of thousand years. So all of this was already in play when Christianity came into being. The word is a metaphor for vibration. In the ancient African worldview, everything that exists was a metaphor or analogy of the Creator. In other words, there is only one Creator. As I always say, there's only one Creator. And everything in the universe is not only from the same source, but is the source in another form. It's the source in another form. One Creator. But the universe is not only from the same source, but is the source in another form. So in other words, because we're the universe. So in other words, you can look at other things like a tree and say the tree is the universe, but it's the tree to be worshipped. No, it's not. It's a living organism. And so you could say that's part of the universe. That's part of the whole makeup and structure of what is in the universe. In this context, it is easy to see that one purpose of the cosmological metaphor of the divine word may be help orient us to think about matters as a product of vibrations. Okay, so you know what? I want to find out how much we have. I got cut off, and we're going to come back. I want to see if this all ties in, and that be sure that I can link it to the other segment, and then we'll continue. And so we talked about anthropomorphic versus humanization, and we're going to be looking at that. We talked about that some, and we'll go on. Okay, and we'll just give you a bit more, and we'll close down from there, and then we'll come back, and I'll see if we can tie all of this in together, because I got interrupted, and I want to see if I could tie all these in as one episode, and I want to see where I got cut off, and then we'll come, like I said, we'll continue. Okay, let me just give you this real not quick, but let me give this to you. Okay, and it talks about the Greeks' mentality was gods having children with mortals. They used natural symbols as an analogy or an approximation of an abstract metaphysical concept. Today we call it anthropomorphizing. For example, the Africans would take a concept like consciousness being everything and say God sees all. It doesn't mean God has eyes like a human, but the idea that consciousness is aware of everything is being expressed. And we're getting back to things that were said before. And this is why I said that I don't have to think a thing, because consciously it's already been thought. You follow me? I don't have to think it. Consciously, the creative source, the power of consciousness has already manifested those things already. So the manifestation is happening all the time. Okay, so I don't need to think it. And as it says God it doesn't mean God has eyes. It means the consciousness, but the idea that consciousness is aware. We talked about that it's like the Creator's giving me everything we talked about in the podcast. Awareness of thought, awareness of your inner being, awareness of your inner soul being expressed. A God that has eyes would be humanizing the idea. Listen, y'all, the idea the ancient Africans would say that is childlike thinking. Wow. That shows you the mentality of the Greeks that learned these ideas from Egypt and spread them to the world. They humanized God and their gods. See, that's not what the Kemites did. But this is where, when I just mentioned earlier, that in theorem, when a person can't reach the nine ether dimension level where you can, because you're made up of all the God particles that allow you to be in that spheres of consciousness. Okay, that you have that ability and that you've been favored with that ability to be able to do that. Whereas the sixth ether makeup or entity cannot reach that level. That's why they interpreted Kemetic theology totally different than the way the Kemites were teaching them. See, because they looked at it in a humanized way. They were still children. They didn't understand the spirituality with the Kemites. They was way thousands of years ahead of them. Such on spiritual levels of consciousness, they couldn't even comprehend it. They could not even comprehend it. And so this is why they had to give it to the world in a humanized formation. And it says that the Greeks that their mentality of the Greeks, that they learned these ideas from Kemet and spread them to the world. They humanized God and their gods. That's what they did. Still trying to figure out what African spirituality is. One of the reasons Kemetic spiritual science can be so confusing is oftentimes metaphors and symbols meant to express abstract ideas are taken literally. The ancient Africans were master teachers using symbols and myths to express very sophisticated and complex concepts in the most elegant ways. In the worldview of ancient Kemet, harmony is the organizing principles of anything that exists. Think of that. Think of it. Harmony is the method of nature. Vibration is how the universe organizes itself on every level. The same idea of the sound or the word being as or at the origin of the universe was also stated in the Bible in John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It was taken from the teachings of the ancient Africans in Kemet. That was spoken thousands of years before Christianity, as I said before, came into play. And again, this is where I had said, when it speaks of the origin, being of the origin, that's why I said you have to get something from the origin. It says being at the origin of the universe was also stated in the Bible. Okay, so you always have to get the origin. The heavens, within the ancient Kemetic paradigm, the reason you exist is that your body materialized into matter from spirit with a certain harmony. At the entrance of your spirit into matter, you became a harmonious reflection of the melody of harmony, or harmony of the planets and stars, the heavens, in the moment of your birth. And this is why I say we are star people. And this is so deep. I just laugh and smile because this is so profound. And and I know that it'll be hard for some people to grasp because I want you to be able to grasp it. But wow. Today we call the study of this concept in the ancient science astrology. And in ancient Kemet, it was a part of their daily philosophy. The ancient Kemetians knew the stars and planets had an electromagnetic vibration that subtly changes as they move around the heavens. Our people were so, and still are, so profound and deep that we were above everybody else. They didn't get it. They still don't get it. They still don't get it. They still don't get it, y'all. But what we're going to do, we're going to pause there. I'm going to put all this together, and we are going to come back, and we're going to continue. So we're still on spiritual metamorphosis. So we're transitioning, we're changing, we're becoming better. So again, remember to smash that button, like, share, and remember, we're always listening to uncopyrighted music here on Anchor by Spotify. You can find us on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Patreon, Budsprout, Podbean, and many, many, many more. So until we meet again, you guys have a great evening. Keep your vibrations high. We vibrate. We have rhythm and vibration. We're constantly evolving to a higher spheres of being. So, until the next time, stay high. We'll see you then. All right, take care.